Good morning, everyone. Myself, Leela Sravanthi, working as Assistant Professor in CSC Department, Mlritm. Today, my subject is Cryptography and Network Security. Okay, first, we will go further. What is the use of this cryptography and network security? Along with that one, just we will discuss about the types of attacks. Okay, first is the introduction to the cryptography. Here, the cryptography is a technique of securing information, of converting it into a unreadable form so that the authorized users can access and user it. Here, whatever the information we are sending, the plain text can be read by the authorized person. Then it is a ensuring of the communication in the presence of adversaries, and it is also protecting the data of unauthorized access, and it is a maintaining of a confidentiality, authentication, and the non-repudiation process. And it is a converts the cryptography is used to convert the plain text to the ciphertext. Plain text to the ciphertext using the encryption techniques. Here, when we are using of this cryptography, only the authorized person or the authenticated persons can be used. While coming to here, the core principles of a cryptography. The modern cryptography fills with the four fundamental principles. First one is the data confidentiality, data integrity, authentication, and last one is the non-repudiation. First is the data confidentiality. Here, data confidentiality ensures the information is accessible by the authorized individuals or the system. That is enforced through encryption techniques or confidentiality agreements. This confidentiality can be used, the data can be used by the authorized person who can be accessed that data. For example, the sender and the receiver. If sender is sending the information, the receiver can be received that plain text. But if any of the unauthorized person is using this plain text, that unauthorized person is not able to see that plain text. That's why this can be accessible only for the authenticated person. The data confidential. The data will be in the format of a confidential. The information is not shown to the unauthorized person. The next one is the data integrity. This integrity ensures that the information remains the accurate and it is a complete and unchanged throughout the life cycle. If the person is able to see that plain text of the unauthorized person, they are not able to modify that data. That is the use of this data integrity. If sender and the receiver, here sender and the sender is sending the message, the receiver will be receiving of the message. If the third party person, the unauthorized person want to see that data, they can see but they are not able to modify that data. That is the use of this data integrity. The next one is the authentication. Authentication will be verifies the identity, whether that the receiver person receiving the message person is authenticated or not. That system can be verified. That the receiver, sender and the receiver. If the receiver person is receiving that information, that receiver belongs to the sender or not, it will be identified and it is checked by this authentication. Only the authenticated person can be used to take that information. For example, username and the password. If username has been given by the user, that password has been given by that user itself, then that user will be the authenticated person for the account. that may be the Gmail, that may be the online transactions, whatever it may be, that the only authenticated person can be used for that information. The next one is the non-repudiation. This non-repudiation, sender will be sending of the information, but the message or signing a document cannot giving means it will be providing the origin of a data and delivering of a data, giving the proof whether that the receiver is a correct person or not. Just it will be given by this non-repudiation. When this is about the introduction of a cryptography. In this one, just we are having of a different types of securities. First one is the computer security. Computer security is used for the collection of tools designed and that is used to protect the data and the data and from the hackers. The next one is the network security. It is measured the protecting of messages on the transmissions. When the transmission has been done from the sender to the receiver, in the transmission, no other person or no other unauthorized person is able to access. The next one is, third one is a internet security. It is used to protecting of a data during the transmission and collecting of a interconnected networks. When the interconnected networks is using by the user, that data will be protected by using of this internet security. Okay, this is about the different securities along with the cryptography. Then along with this one, when we are using of this security conditions, the security can be divided into the three types. First one is the security attack, security mechanism, and the security services. These are the three mechanisms we are using in the network security. First, we will go for the security attack. What do you mean by the security attack? Why it is used and how? What are the different types of security attacks are there? Okay, first we will go for the security attacks. Here the security attacks is used to preventing of the attacks or failing of the taking of the data from the information based systems. And here when we are using of the security attacks, it will be in the wide range of attacks. In this, the threat we are calling it as a attack only. Okay, then coming to the classification of attacks. The security attacks has been divided into the two types, passive attack and the active attack. First we will go for the passive attack. Here the passive attack is the monitoring or eavesdropping the communication without modifying the data. This passive attacks will be sending off information to the sender to the receiver, but it is not able to modify that data. Okay, these attacks will be difficult to detect because they do not affect the system operations. These passive attacks are the difficult to identify because it will not affect the any operations, any system operations. Okay, then in this passive attacks, here there are the two conditions. First is the release of message contents and the traffic analysis. Well, coming to here, the information, the release of message contents. Here, for example, Bob and the slice. That is the third person. The information, the telephonic conversation or the electronic mail message is transferred. Okay, that the file will be the confidential. It would be not prevented or it like to prevent an opponent from learning contents of this transmission. This Bob and the allies and the Dutt. Okay, the information will be transferred from the is the sender, it is a receiver. Sender from the receiver. This will be the third party. Okay, but when the messages has been sent, this person is not able to change that one. The third person will not able to modify. That will be transferred to this sender. Okay. The next is the traffic analysis. This traffic analysis will be encrypting of a messages. Okay, could not extracting of a messages can be done here. The same information will be transferred, but the information from the message here, if the sender and the receive, the sender sent to message to the receiver, this person will not able to extract the information whatever the exactly the sender is sending to the receiver. For this purpose, the passive attacks can be used. Then these are the two passive attacks. Then coming to the active attacks. Here active attacks are the directly interacts with the targeted system. It is directly attacks to the targeted system, and it is used to modify, or it is used for the disrupt or the destroying the data or services. This active attacks can be used for the destroying of services. These attacks are the easier to detect when compared with the passive attacks. Okay, then here while coming to this, the active attacks are the three different types. First one is the masquerade. Second one is the replay and the content of message. Here, first one is the masquerade. Here, masquerade attack is a cyber attack in which the attacker can use a information or system to gain unauthorized access to data. If it is a sender, it is a receiver. If the cyber attack, the data will be taken by the third party and that information can be modified, that information can be received by the receiver. Okay, this is a deceiving to the others, the modifying of the original messages and sending to the receiver. Okay, that is calling as the masquerade. Then coming to this one, second one is the replay. What do you mean by the replay? Here the replay will be calling as the passive capture of a message. Okay, it is used to transmit of a production of an authorized effect. In this time, the main objective of attacker is saving a copy. Here, the main attacker will be saving the original one and it will be sent to the third person. Okay, modify it. The sender will be sender and the receiver. If sender will be sending receiver, this third party can be changing of a data, modifying that information and sending to this one. Okay, that is calling as the reply. Then in the third one will be in this attack, the attacker alters the content of the transmitted messages or changes their order. Directly, these informations can be modified by the third person and the third person is sending to the receiver. These are the directly can be used for the destroying of the data or destroying of the services. Okay, these are the three active attacks. Here, while coming to these active attacks, first we are having of a interruption, interception, modification, and the fabrication. Okay, the information is transferred from the information source to the destination. Normally, the sender will be sending of a information and receiving of a information. From that one, the first one is the interruption. Here, the interruption will be calling as the destroyed, or it is also calling as the unbelievable or unusable. Okay, these attacks can be available on the where we can see this interruption if any of the slow network or any of the jamming of a wireless signals, or it is also identified in the destruction of a hardware. If the message is not sent from the sender to the receiver, it will be interrupted. The next coming to the interception. The interception is an unauthorized. It can be attack on the confidentiality. Just the sender and the receiver. This third party can be taking the information. Okay, and the sender will be sending to the receiver. Here, see, unauthorized party gains access to an asset. Here, the examples are the wiretapping, capture data in a network, and illicitly copying data or program. Means the data is copied from the sender, but that same information will be sent to the receiver. That is calling as the interception. The next one is the modification. Modification means unauthorized party can access and tampers it. Okay, attack is on integrity. Means the sender and the receiver. This third party can be changed that data, can modify that data. That modified data can be sent to the receiver. Okay, the example is the changing of a data file. Okay, this can be used in the changing of a programs also. The last one is the fabrication. Here, fabrication is only the unauthorized person is send the information to the receiver, but this receiver is not able to identify that the information is came by the third party. Okay, here this is for this fabrication. The examples are the insertion of records in the data files. Unwanted information are inserted into the normal original data files, or else the hackers gaining of a personal email and the sending of a messages, hacking of a mails. Okay, that is calling as the fabrication, and that is calling as the active attacks. These are the different 4 attacks can be used in the cryptography, or else just the information these are the 2 different types security attacks we can see. Okay, thank you.